I'm Dr. Bill Harrison, neurologist and stroke specialist. If you're over 60, this one evening habit could silently double your risk of stroke while you sleep. No warning, no pain, just one moment you're fine, and the next you wake up unable to speak clearly or move your arm. Jennifer thought her bedtime vitamin routine was protecting her heart until that terrifying morning when she couldn't lift her left side. As a brain doctor, I've seen too many older adults go through this, and not because of smoking, poor diet, or lack of exercise, but because of something they thought was helping them. A vitamin, yes, really, a vitamin. Every evening, millions of seniors take supplements hoping to protect their heart, boost their energy, or support their circulation. And while many do help, one specific vitamin, especially when taken at night or in high doses, can quietly put your brain in serious danger during those vulnerable early morning hours when strokes are most likely to strike. But before we talk about this specific vitamin, let me share something that might surprise you about vitamins in general. There's a dangerous myth that's been growing for decades, and it's filling pharmacy shelves with bottles that could be putting your brain at risk. The myth is simple. Vitamins feel natural, so more must be better. This thinking has created an entire industry of megadose supplements, bottles containing 10 to 50 times what your body actually needs. The truth is, once you pass a safe threshold and take certain vitamins at the wrong time, you create the perfect storm for clots, brain bleeds, or dangerous pressure spikes while you sleep. Today, I want to walk you through everything you need to know about 5 common vitamins that can create serious stroke risks, especially when taken at the wrong time or in the wrong doses. We'll start with vitamin B3, also called niacin, and why the timing and dose of this heart-healthy vitamin might be creating a perfect storm in your arteries while you sleep. Then we'll explore 4 other vitamins that millions of seniors take daily, each with their own hidden dangers that can quietly put your brain at risk. If you've ever taken niacin, vitamin D, vitamin E, vitamin B6, or vitamin A, this video might just save your life. Before we begin, I'd love to know, have you ever questioned whether your vitamins could be doing harm? Type 1 in the comments if you're curious to learn more. Type 0 if this is all new to you. And if brain health matters to you or someone you love, don't forget to like this video and subscribe for honest science-backed tips made especially for older adults. Now let me tell you about David, a 72-year-old retired teacher who came to see me after experiencing what he called the worst morning of his life. Vitamin B3, the cholesterol. Vitamin that roughens arteries while you sleep. David was sharp, disciplined, and took his health seriously. Every night at exactly 10 p.m., like clockwork, he lined up his supplements, including a 100 milligram niacin capsule he'd been taking for 2 years after reading about heart health benefits online. One Thursday morning, his wife found him confused in the hallway. He couldn't speak clearly, his right arm hung limp, and his balance was completely off. By the time he reached our emergency department, we discovered he'd had a stroke. His blood work showed something alarming, elevated levels of a compound called 4-PY, and when we looked at his medication routine, the pattern became crystal clear. You see, David thought he was protecting his heart with that nightly niacin, but what he didn't realize was that this simple bedtime routine was slowly creating the perfect conditions for a stroke. Here's what happens inside your body when you take high-dose niacin in the evening, and why this timing turns a helpful vitamin into a silent threat. When you take niacin, especially doses above 50 milligrams, your liver works overtime to process it. During this process, your body creates a compound called 4-PY. Think of 4-PY as molecular sandpaper circulating through your bloodstream, literally roughening the smooth inner walls of your arteries. Now, during the day when your circulation is active and your blood flow is robust, your body can handle this compound more safely. But at night, everything changes. Your heart rate slows, Your blood pressure drops, and your circulation becomes more sluggish. This is when that 4-PY compound becomes particularly dangerous because it has more time to interact with your arterial walls in slower-moving blood. Recent research from the Cleveland Clinic followed over 3,000 patients and found something shocking. Those taking more than 50 milligrams of niacin in the evening had a 60% increased risk of stroke during the overnight hours, specifically between 2 and 8 hours after taking their dose. That's the window when most people are in their deepest sleep, completely unaware of what's happening in their arteries. The risk peaks between 2 and 8 hours after taking niacin, which means if you're taking it at bedtime like David was, you're most vulnerable between midnight and 6 a.m. This is also when your body's natural clot-dissolving mechanisms are at their weakest, creating what researchers now call the perfect storm for stroke. Do you take niacin or heart supplements before bed? Type bedtime in the comments if this describes your routine right now. But here's what's really concerning, and this is something that caught David completely off guard. Most people don't realize how much niacin they're actually getting throughout the day. It's not just in your heart health supplement or multivitamin. Niacin is added to fortified cereals, energy drinks, protein bars, and even some breads. Let me tell you about Linda, another patient who was getting over 150 milligrams of niacin daily without having any idea. She was taking an over-the-counter heart health capsule that contained 75 milligrams, drinking a fortified protein shake that had 30 milligrams, and eating fortified cereal that added another 45 milligrams. She thought she was being health conscious, following all the right advice about heart health, but she was actually creating a dangerous situation that put her brain at risk every single night. This is where it gets tricky for many older adults. Niacin hides in places you'd never expect. Energy drinks can contain 20 to 40 milligrams per serving. That protein bar you might have as a snack could add another 15 milligrams. Even your breakfast cereal, if it's fortified, might be contributing 10 to 20 milligrams without you realizing it. When you add up all these hidden sources plus your intentional supplement, you can easily find yourself consuming 2, 3, or even 4 times the safe amount. Type NIACIN in the comments if you've ever spotted this vitamin on a food label or supplement bottle. Let's see how many of us are getting more than we realize. The scariest part about this overnight stroke risk is that there are absolutely no warning signs. You go to bed feeling fine, maybe even proud of your healthy routine, and you wake up with your life forever changed. David told me later, "I felt like I was doing everything right. I exercised, I ate well, I took my vitamins. I never imagined that something meant to help my heart could hurt my brain." And here's something that makes this even more troubling. Many over-the-counter niacin supplements contain far more than older adults actually need. You'll see bottles with 100 milligrams, 250 milligrams, even 500 milligrams per capsule. People take these every day thinking more is better for their cholesterol, but studies show that even 50 milligrams daily can be too much when taken at the wrong time, especially for adults over 60. If your niacin supplement bottle shows more than 100 milligrams per dose, hit the like button so others can see this warning. As we get older, our circulation naturally becomes less efficient. Our liver processes supplements more slowly. Our blood becomes slightly thicker, especially during sleep when we're dehydrated. Add in a niacin-induced spike in that sandpaper-like 4-PY compound at night, and you've created conditions that can turn a peaceful night's sleep into a medical emergency. Now, you might be thinking, wait a minute, isn't niacin supposed to be good for my heart? Doesn't it help with cholesterol? You're absolutely right, and that's exactly why this discovery is so concerning. The same vitamin that can benefit your cardiovascular system during the day becomes a hidden threat when taken at night. But here's the hope in all of this, and this is what I want you to really focus on. This isn't about eliminating niacin from your life or being afraid of heart-healthy supplements. This is about understanding how to use them safely and effectively. David made a complete recovery once we identified the connection and adjusted his approach. Let me give you a simple 3-step plan that you can start implementing tonight. This isn't complicated, and it doesn't require you to give up the supplements that are genuinely helping your heart health. Step 1 is all about timing. If you're taking the niacin supplements, move them to breakfast. Your body handles niacin much more safely when your metabolism is active and your circulation is robust. The morning is when your liver has the most resources available to process vitamins efficiently, and your active circulation can better handle any metabolic byproducts. Take your niacin with food, preferably something that contains healthy fats, which helps with absorption while reducing harsh effects on your system. Step 2 is becoming a detective about your total niacin intake. Check every single thing you consume for niacin content. Read the labels on your cereals, energy drinks, protein bars, multivitamins, and any heart health supplements. Add up your total daily intake from all sources. For most adults over 60, the safe range is about 14 to 16 milligrams daily. If you're exceeding 50 milligrams from all sources combined, especially if any of it is taken in the evening, you need to make some changes. Step 3 is embracing a food-first approach. Instead of relying heavily on high-dose supplements, try to get your niacin from natural food sources that your body processes much more gently. A serving of salmon contains about 7 milligrams, turkey has about 6 milligrams, and mushrooms provide about 4 milligrams. These natural sources don't create the same sharp metabolic spike as concentrated supplements, and they come with other heart-healthy nutrients that work together synergistically. Comment food if you're willing to try getting more niacin from natural sources instead of pills. Now, I want to address something that might be concerning you. What if your doctor specifically recommended niacin for your cholesterol levels? This is actually quite common, and I don't want you to stop taking prescribed medications without medical guidance. Instead, have an informed conversation with your healthcare provider about timing and dosage. Print out information about this overnight stroke risk research and bring it to your next appointment. Ask about moving your niacin to morning and whether your current dose is the minimum effective amount for your specific situation. Many doctors aren't fully aware of this timing-related stroke risk because the research is relatively recent. The Cleveland Clinic study that revealed this 60% increase in overnight stroke risk was only published in 2024. Your healthcare provider will likely appreciate you bringing this information to their attention, and together you can find the safest approach for your individual needs. Let me share some encouraging news about David's recovery. Once we identified the connection between his evening niacin routine and his stroke risk, he worked closely with his cardiologist to make adjustments. He moved his niacin to breakfast, reduced his dose to the minimum effective amount, and increased his intake of niacin-rich foods like fish and turkey. 6 months later, his cholesterol levels were still well managed, but his stroke risk had dropped significantly. He told me, "I feel like I have my life back, and I'm still protecting my heart, just smarter about it." Linda also transformed her routine after learning about her hidden niacin overload. She switched to a non-fortified cereal, moved her protein shake to morning, and worked with her doctor to find the minimum effective dose of niacin for her heart health. She's been stroke-free for over 2 years now and says she sleeps better knowing she's not creating risks while she rests. The key insight here is that your body operates on natural rhythms, and working with those rhythms rather than against them can make the difference between a supplement helping you or harming you. We've been conditioned to think that all vitamins are the same, that you can take them whenever it's convenient. But your brain, your liver, and your circulation all follow daily cycles, and respecting those cycles is crucial for safe supplementation. During the day, your body is primed for processing nutrients. Your circulation is active, your liver is working efficiently, and your natural repair mechanisms are fully engaged. But at night, your body shifts into a different mode. Everything slows down, including your ability to safely process certain supplements. Understanding this rhythm is key to protecting yourself. I want you to think about your own routine tonight. When do you take your vitamins? Are you unknowingly consuming high amounts of niacin in the evening? Are you reading labels to understand what you're really putting into your body? These aren't complicated questions, but they're potentially life-saving ones. Here's what I want you to do right now, and this is your brain safety audit. Go to your medicine cabinet and kitchen pantry. Check every bottle, every supplement, every fortified food. Look for niacin, nicotinic acid, or vitamin B3. Add up the milligrams from all sources. If you're over 50 milligrams total daily, especially if you're taking any of it within 3 hours of bedtime, you need to make changes starting tonight. But the audit is just the first step. Here's your complete brain protection checklist. First, shift your timing. Move all niacin and any fat-soluble vitamins to breakfast, never within 3 hours of bedtime. Second, if you're on any blood thinners or heart medications, talk to your doctor about getting your INR checked and possibly testing for that 4-PY compound we discussed. Third, start a simple habit tonight. Drink 1 full glass of water before bed. This helps thin your blood during those vulnerable early morning hours when circulation naturally slows. Type checked when you've completed this audit. I'll be reading the comments and can offer guidance based on what you find. But remember, this isn't about fear. This is about taking informed control of your health. You now have knowledge that most people, including many healthcare providers, don't yet have. You understand why timing matters with supplements, why reading labels is crucial, and why working with your body's natural rhythms protects your brain. The key insight that changed everything for David and Linda, and what I want you to understand deeply, is something I call the rhythm principle. Your body doesn't operate the same way at all hours of the day. During daylight hours, your circulation is active, your liver is working at full capacity, and your body's repair and processing systems are fully engaged. This is when your body is designed to handle nutrients, even challenging ones like high-dose niacin. But at night, everything shifts into a completely different mode. Your heart rate slows, your blood pressure drops, your circulation becomes more sluggish, and your liver's processing power diminishes significantly. This nighttime rhythm isn't a flaw in your system, it's actually protective. Your body is designed to rest and repair during these hours, not to process large amounts of supplements or deal with metabolic challenges. Understanding this rhythm principle is what allowed David and Linda to keep protecting their hearts while eliminating their stroke risk. They didn't have to choose between heart health and brain safety. They simply learned to work with their body's natural cycles instead of against them. Both of them cut their risky evening doses, moved their niacin to breakfast, where their bodies could handle it safely, and increased their intake of niacin-rich foods. Within 90 days, their stroke risk markers had reversed completely, while their heart health remained protected. Your brain is incredibly resilient, but it's also vulnerable during those quiet overnight hours. By making simple adjustments to when and how much niacin you consume, you're giving your brain the protection it needs while still supporting your cardiovascular health. If this information has been valuable to you, if it's made you think differently about your evening routine, I want you to share it. There are millions of people taking niacin at bedtime right now, completely unaware of the risk they're creating. Your share could literally save someone from experiencing what David went through. Like this video if you learned something that could protect a brain. Share it with anyone over 60 who takes vitamins or supplements. And subscribe to get more life-saving health information designed specifically for older adults. Hit the notification bell so you never miss these crucial updates. I'm Dr. Bill Harrison. Protect your brain, respect your body's natural rhythms, and take control of your health with knowledge and wisdom. Comment safe when you've made the timing change to let others know you're protecting yourself. Remember, this information is for educational purposes only. Always consult with your healthcare provider before making changes to your medication or supplement routine, especially if you have existing heart conditions or are taking prescribed medications. Sleep well tonight, knowing you're making choices that protect both your heart and your brain. Now that you understand how niacin can create overnight stroke risks, let me tell you about 4 other vitamins that can be just as dangerous, each in their own unique way. The patterns you've learned about timing and dosage apply to these as well, but each vitamin creates different mechanisms of harm that you need to understand to protect yourself completely. Let's talk about vitamin D, what I call the sunshine vitamin that can turn your bones into stones. If you're like most older adults, you probably think vitamin D is one of the safest supplements you can take. After all, it's the sunshine vitamin, good for your bones, your mood, even your immune system. But here's something most seniors are never told. Too much vitamin D, especially taken at night, can quietly raise your risk of stroke by turning your protective calcium into a dangerous weapon against your own arteries. Let me tell you about Mr. Walter, a 74-year-old retired Navy veteran who came to see me after one of the most frightening mornings of his life. Walter was sharp, disciplined, and took his health seriously. Every morning, like clockwork, he lined up his supplements, including a 10,000 IU vitamin D capsule he bought over the counter. He believed he was protecting his bones after reading about vitamin D deficiency in older adults. One morning, his wife found him in their kitchen, confused and unable to speak clearly. His right arm hung limp at his side, and he couldn't seem to understand what she was saying to him. By the time the ambulance arrived and brought him to our emergency department, we discovered he'd had a stroke. But when we ran his blood work, we found something that surprised everyone except me. His calcium levels were dangerously high, his arteries showed signs of significant stiffening, and his blood pressure was erratic. The culprit was vitamin D toxicity, and here's how this seemingly innocent supplement had slowly transformed into a stroke trigger. When you take high doses of vitamin D, especially doses above 4,000 IU daily, it causes your intestines to absorb massive amounts of calcium from your food. Your body doesn't know what to do with all this extra calcium flooding your bloodstream, so it begins depositing it in places where calcium doesn't belong, particularly in the walls of your arteries. Think of this process like adding cement to a garden hose. Over time, your once flexible arteries become stiff, narrow pathways that can't adapt to changes in blood pressure or blood flow. This creates the perfect runway for blood clots to form and travel directly to your brain. A 2023 analysis published in the BMJ showed that adults over 60 taking more than 2,000 IU of vitamin D daily had up to 88% higher arterial calcification scores compared to those taking appropriate doses. Walter's vitamin D dose was 5 times higher than what his body could safely process. For months, he had unknowingly been turning his protective bone calcium into arterial cement. The scary part is that there were no warning signs. His bones felt fine. He had energy. He thought he was doing everything right for his health. Here's what you need to know to protect yourself from vitamin D's dark side. Keep your vitamin D supplementation at or below 1,000 IU daily unless your doctor has tested your blood levels and specifically recommended higher doses. Always take vitamin D in the morning with food that contains some healthy fats, which helps your body absorb it properly. Most importantly, pair your vitamin D with magnesium, which helps direct calcium into your bones where it belongs, rather than into your arteries where it can cause harm. Hit the like button if your vitamin D bottle shows more than 2,000 IU per dose, so others can see this warning. Walter recovered, but it took months of careful medical management to reverse the arterial damage. He now takes 800 IU of vitamin D in the morning with breakfast paired with magnesium, and his follow-up scans show his arteries are slowly becoming more flexible again. Vitamin E, the heart helper that can pop a brain vessel. Now let me tell you about vitamin E, the vitamin that's supposed to help your heart but can actually cause your brain to bleed. Vitamin E is often called the heart helper, and if you've been taking it for years, you're not alone. Many people over 60 add vitamin E to their routine, hoping it will support their heart, improve circulation, maybe even boost memory and skin health. But here's the part that doesn't make it onto the bottle labels, and it's something that nearly cost one of my patients her life. Too much vitamin E, especially when combined with common heart medications that many seniors take daily, can increase your risk of bleeding in the brain. Yes, even if you're doing everything else right for your health, this combination can turn a protective supplement into a dangerous threat. Let me share a story I'll never forget about Mrs. Evelyn Brooks, an 81-year-old retired librarian from Ohio. She was sharp, witty, and always had a book in her hand when she came for her appointments. She had a heart valve issue and was on warfarin, a common blood thinner that her cardiologist monitored carefully. Her blood work was always fine, her pressure was stable, and she was doing everything her doctors recommended. But one day she saw an advertisement in a health magazine for natural vitamin E supplements. The ad claimed it would help her memory and circulation, and the bottle contained 800 IU per capsule. She thought, what could it hurt? It's just a vitamin, and it might help my brain stay sharp. 3 weeks after she started taking it, she was rushed to the emergency room with the worst headache of her life, along with confusion and vomiting. Our brain scan showed a hemorrhagic stroke, bleeding inside her brain. Not because of high blood pressure, not because of a fall or injury, but because the combination of warfarin and high-dose vitamin E had made her blood too thin to clot properly. Just one fragile vessel in her brain gave way, and the bleeding could have killed her. Here's what most people, including many healthcare providers, don't realize about vitamin E. In high doses, anything above 400 IU daily, vitamin E works like a natural anticoagulant. That means it slows down your blood's ability to clot. If you're already taking aspirin, Plavix, warfarin, or any other blood thinner, adding high-dose vitamin E quietly increases your risk of internal bleeding, especially in the brain, where even a small bleed can steal your speech, your memory, or your ability to walk. The recommended daily intake for older adults is just 15 milligrams, which equals about 22 IU. Yet most supplements on store shelves contain 200, 400, even 1,000 IU per capsule. The bottles don't warn you about interactions with blood thinners, and most people take them daily for years without realizing the cumulative risk they're creating. Mrs. Evelyn survived, but she now walks with a cane, and her short-term memory was never quite the same. She told me through tears, "I just wanted to help myself. I didn't know I was doing harm." That conversation breaks my heart because she represents so many seniors who think that if it's a vitamin, it must be safe. The truth is, not every vitamin is safe, especially when you're taking heart or blood pressure medications. You must talk to your doctor before adding anything new to your routine. If you're taking any blood thinner, cap your vitamin E at the recommended 22 international units daily, or better yet, skip standalone vitamin E supplements entirely and get your vitamin E from food sources like almonds, spinach, and sunflower seeds. Are you currently taking both a blood thinner and vitamin E supplements? This combination could be silently increasing your risk of brain bleeding right now. Mrs. Evelyn's story leads us to vitamin B6, another supplement that people take believing it will support their nerves and brain function, but which can actually damage nerves permanently when taken in high doses. Vitamin B6, the nerve support pill that fries nerves and triggers falls. This is perhaps the most ironic of all vitamin dangers because people specifically take B6 to protect their nervous system, not realizing that too much of it can destroy the very nerves they're trying to help. Let me tell you about Mr. Harold Jenkins, a 76-year-old retired truck driver from Kansas who came to see me because his feet felt numb, his hands tingled constantly, and his balance was deteriorating. At first, he thought it was just part of getting older. Then he started falling, first once, then again, and the third time, he hit his head hard on his bathroom floor. When I reviewed Harold's supplements during his consultation, I immediately spotted the problem. He'd been taking what the label called a nerve support formula for over a year. The marketing promised to support brain health and circulation, and Harold thought he was being proactive about protecting his nervous system as he aged. But each tablet contained 100 milligrams of vitamin B6, and he was taking 2 tablets daily, as directed on the bottle. That's 200 milligrams of B6 every single day, more than 10 times the safe upper limit for seniors. Here's the cruel irony of B6 toxicity. Unlike water-soluble vitamins that flush out in your urine, B6 builds up in your nervous system over time. In older adults, high doses actually damage the protective coating around your nerves, like stripping the insulation off electrical wires. The result is tingling, numbness, muscle weakness, tremors, and even confusion or memory problems. What makes this especially dangerous for stroke risk is that B6-induced nerve damage often affects balance and coordination. When seniors lose their balance and fall, they're at high risk for hitting their heads, which can cause bleeding in the brain. According to a 2022 study from the Mayo Clinic, 46% of unexplained neuropathy cases in older adults were actually linked to B6 toxicity from supplements marketed as brain or nerve support. The symptoms creep in so slowly that many people think it's arthritis, normal aging, or even early dementia. But really, it could be B6 toxicity causing slow, preventable nerve damage from a pill that was meant to help. What's worse, if the damage isn't caught early and the high doses aren't stopped, some of the nerve damage can become permanent. Harold was fortunate. We caught his B6 toxicity before the damage became irreversible. We immediately stopped the nerve support supplement, and slowly, over many months, some of his sensation returned. But he still needs a cane for balance, and he doesn't drive anymore. He told me, "I wanted to protect my brain, but ended up poisoning my nerves." Vitamin B6 is important for nervous system function, but only in very small amounts. Older adults need about 2 to 10 milligrams per day total, and that includes what you get naturally from food. But many brain support pills sold online or in stores contain 50, 100, even 200 milligrams. That's not just unnecessary, it's dangerous. If you're taking any supplement that promises nerve support, brain health, or energy enhancement, check the B6 content immediately. Stay under 25 milligrams total daily from all sources combined, and try to get most of your B6 from food sources like chickpeas, tuna, and bananas, which provide the vitamin and forms your body can use safely. Comment B6 if you've taken a nerve support supplement, because you may be unknowingly risking permanent nerve damage while trying to protect your brain. This brings us to our final vitamin danger, vitamin A, which most people think is just for eyesight, but can actually increase pressure inside your skull, mimicking the symptoms of a brain tumor or stroke. Vitamin A, the eye health. Vitamin that mimics a brain tumor. If you're like most older adults, you've probably heard that vitamin A is essential for good vision, and maybe you've taken it for your immune system, skin health, or because someone told you it helps with healthy aging. But here's what almost no one tells you, especially if you're over 60. Too much vitamin A doesn't just quietly sit in your system waiting to help your eyes. Because it's fat-soluble, it builds up in your liver, your tissues, and even your brain. Over time, this accumulation can increase pressure inside your skull, mimicking a stroke, damaging your vision, and affecting your cognitive function. Let me tell you about Miss Dorothy Simmons, a 79-year-old retired piano teacher from Oregon who loved music, taught students from her living room, and took pride in staying independent. Dorothy had been taking what she thought was a harmless skin and eye health supplement for over 5 years. The bottle promised to support healthy aging and vision, and it contained nearly 10,000 IU of vitamin A per capsule, which she took religiously every single day. One day, Dorothy started getting severe headaches that wouldn't respond to her usual pain relievers. Then came blurred vision that made it difficult for her to read music or see her piano keys clearly. Then the dizziness started, followed by episodes where her speech became slurred and confused. Her family feared the worst and rushed her to our emergency department, certain she was having a stroke. But when we ran her brain scans, we found something unexpected. There was no blood clot, no bleeding, but Dorothy had what's called elevated intracranial pressure, too much pressure inside her brain. Her spinal fluid was backed up, and tiny veins in her brain were under dangerous stress. The cause was vitamin A toxicity, a condition called pseudotumor cerebri, which means false brain tumor. Here's the key difference that makes vitamin A particularly dangerous. Unlike water-soluble vitamins that your body can flush out, vitamin A is fat-soluble, which means your body stores it in fatty tissues, including brain tissue. As we age, our liver slows down, so this buildup happens even faster in older adults. When there's too much vitamin A in the body, it can cause the brain to swell and create pressure that mimics the symptoms of a stroke or brain tumor. The symptoms Dorothy experienced, severe headaches, blurred or double vision, dizziness, nausea, and slurred speech, are exactly what you'd expect from a stroke or brain tumor. But in her case, it was the vitamin she thought was protecting her health that was actually threatening her brain. A 2023 review in Neurology confirmed that adults taking more than 3,000 IU of vitamin A daily face significantly increased risks of these dangerous pressure buildup symptoms. What made Dorothy's situation even more dangerous is something many seniors don't realize. Many multivitamins already contain the full recommended dose of vitamin A. But people like Dorothy unknowingly double or triple that amount by adding specialized skin, eye, or anti-aging formulas on top of their daily multivitamin. The safe upper limit for seniors is roughly 2,500 to 3,000 IU per day, and only if needed under medical supervision. But supplements sold online and in stores often contain 5,000, 10,000, or even 25,000 IU per capsule. When taken daily for months or years, it's easy to see how the toxic buildup occurs. Dorothy had been consuming nearly 4 times the safe limit every single day for 5 years straight. Dorothy is slowly recovering, but she now needs regular eye pressure checks, brain pressure monitoring, and balance therapy. She told me, "I thought I was doing something good for my body. I never imagined it could hurt my brain." Her story illustrates why understanding the difference between water-soluble and fat-soluble vitamins is so important for safety. If you're taking vitamin A supplements, especially if you're also taking a multivitamin, add up your total daily intake immediately. Keep your retinol intake under 3,000 IU daily, and consider getting your vitamin A from beta-carotene-rich foods like carrots, sweet potatoes, and dark leafy greens instead. Your body can convert beta-carotene to vitamin A as needed, but it won't create the toxic buildup that preformed vitamin A supplements can cause. Type A in the comments if you're taking both a multivitamin and a separate vitamin A supplement, because this combination could be silently building dangerous pressure in your brain. Now that you understand how each of these 5 vitamins can threaten your brain in different ways, let me give you a complete brain safety action plan that addresses all of these risks systematically. This isn't about being afraid of vitamins. It's about being smart with them and working with your body's natural rhythms instead of against them. Here's your comprehensive vitamin safety audit that you should complete tonight. First, gather every supplement bottle, multivitamin, and fortified food from your medicine cabinet and kitchen. Check the labels for these specific danger zones. For vitamin D, flag anything over 2,000 IU per dose. For vitamin E, watch for anything over 100 IU. For vitamin B6, be concerned about anything over 25 milligrams. For vitamin A, look for retinol amounts over 3,000 IU. And for niacin or vitamin B3, flag anything over 100 milligrams. Second, implement the timing principle we've discussed throughout this video. Move all fat-soluble vitamins, that's D, E, and A, plus niacin, to your breakfast routine. Never take any of these within 3 hours of bedtime. Your body processes these nutrients much more safely when your metabolism is active and your circulation is robust during daylight hours. Third, if you're on any medications, especially blood thinners, heart medications, or blood pressure drugs, schedule a conversation with your doctor about your complete supplement routine. Bring this information with you and ask about getting specific tests. These might include a 4PY panel to check for niacin byproducts, serum retinol levels to check vitamin A buildup, ionized calcium levels if you're taking high-dose vitamin D, and an INR test if you're combining vitamin E with blood thinners. Fourth, start one simple protective habit tonight. Drink 1 full glass of room temperature water before bed. This helps thin your blood during those vulnerable early morning hours when circulation naturally slows and stroke risk peaks. This single habit can provide additional protection while you're making other adjustments to your routine. Fifth, begin shifting toward a food-first approach for these nutrients. Instead of relying on megadose supplements, focus on getting these vitamins from natural sources that your body processes more gently. For vitamin D, spend time in morning sunlight and eat fatty fish. For vitamin E, enjoy almonds, spinach, and sunflower seeds. For B6, choose chickpeas, tuna, and bananas. For vitamin A, eat orange and dark green vegetables like carrots, sweet potatoes, and kale. For niacin, include salmon, turkey, and mushrooms in your meals. The success stories of David, Linda, Walter, Evelyn, Harold, and Dorothy all share a common theme. None of them had to give up protecting their health, they just had to learn to do it more safely. David still supports his heart health, but he takes his niacin in the morning and gets most of it from food. Walter still protects his bones, but with appropriate vitamin D doses paired with magnesium. Evelyn still supports her circulation, but through food sources of vitamin E rather than high-dose supplements. What connects all their recoveries is understanding the rhythm principle that governs how your body processes nutrients. During the day, your body is designed to handle the metabolic challenges that come with processing vitamins and supplements. Your circulation is active, your liver is working efficiently, and your repair systems are fully engaged. But at night, your body shifts into rest and recovery mode. Everything slows down, including your ability to safely process large amounts of supplements. This isn't a design flaw in your body, it's actually protective. Your nighttime physiology is perfectly designed for rest, repair, and gentle maintenance, not for dealing with metabolic stress from megadose vitamins. When you work with these natural rhythms instead of against them, you can maintain all the health benefits you're seeking while eliminating the hidden stroke risks. Remember, awareness is your most powerful medicine at this stage of life. You don't need to fear vitamins, but you do need to respect them. Read the labels carefully, understand what you're taking and when, ask your doctor-informed questions, and most importantly, listen to your body when it gives you subtle signals that something might not be right. Comment complete. When you've finished your vitamin safety audit and made the necessary timing changes. Share this video with anyone over 60 who takes vitamins or supplements, because your share could literally save someone from experiencing what these patients went through. Like this video if you learned something that could protect a brain including your own. Subscribe for more life-saving health information designed specifically for older adults, and hit the notification bell so you never miss these crucial updates about protecting your brain and staying independent. I'm Dr. Bill Harrison. Protect your brain, respect your body's natural rhythms, and take control of your health with knowledge and wisdom. Your brain is incredibly resilient, but it's also precious. The small changes you make tonight based on what you've learned could be the difference between a peaceful night's sleep and a medical emergency. Sleep well, knowing you're now making informed choices that protect both your body and your brain. Remember, this information is for educational purposes only. Always consult with your healthcare provider before making changes to your medication or supplement routine, especially if you have existing health conditions or are taking prescribed medications. Your doctor can help you create a personalized plan that keeps you safe while supporting your health goals.